Okay, so this is 3D Studio Max. This is the software we're going to be using in this course. Once you have installed it, I'm going to try to zoom in here slowly so I don't go too fast here. Okay, once you have installed it on your computer and you go to the button, it will put it somewhere on your computer depending on how your computer stores it. On this one, they put it under Autodesk. I just clicked on the big button down here in the corner, and there it is right there. Now, I have 2018 on this machine. For this course, you want to download 2019. What I'm going to show you is going to be very similar. They're very similar. But the thing is, when we get into next semester for the materials class, you're going to need 2019 to have access to the current download that you're going to need. For some reason, the download for 2018 was gone off their server the last time I looked. So we just went through this with the class that has cycled through for this academic year prior to you all. So I think we've got all that squared away. Okay, so once you open it, it's going to ask you which version you want, and you want the classic version. I'm trying to zoom out just enough here so you can see. So you can see there's a lot going on here, and there's 4 different quadrants. It's going to take a little bit of practice to get used to working with them, but this is how we're going to work. And the reason is that when you're working in 3 dimensions, you need to be able to work in and see different views at the same time. Okay, so you see right here in this quadrant, it says top standard wireframe, and then you see this cube over here on the right. The cube and the word top work together. Okay, so when I click on the word top, you see it becomes yellow. It shows me that I can look at the top view, the bottom view, the front view, the back view, the left view, or the right view of my model. And so the way this is set up initially, and this is the way we're going to work, it just makes it easier. You can always customize this later, but for now we're just going to work with the top view here. So that way we're all consistent. And so when I'm giving you instruction, you're going to be able to follow me if you have everything set up the same way. This one will be our front view. We'll see the front view of the model. This will be the left view, and then this will be the perspective view. And the view that you are clicked on, I'll just show you here. I'll move my mouse over here so it's easier. There we go. Okay, so the view that you're clicked on will be highlighted with that yellow outline so that you know which one's active. 99% of the time, you don't want to work in the perspective view. You're going to want to. It's easier to work in the perspective view, but it's not the best way to work because it's misleading. If you align things in the perspective view and then you switch the direction you're looking in, you're going to find out they're probably not aligned anymore. So it's really important to make sure that you are working, drawing, creating, moving in your what are considered plan, which is the top and the bottom, and elevational, which is the front, back, left, and right views, because these are going to be accurate. And when we start getting into creating standard primitives, you will see very shortly what I'm talking about in terms of alignment. You see how this works. Now, the software has 3D Studio Max has been around for a while. It's Autodesk product, so you all be able to get a free student version, and the link is in Blackboard. Now, 3D Studio Max is one of the easier, complex 3D modeling animation software programs to learn. Once you learn this, it's really easy to pick up the others. Blender's easier, but it's not as powerful. 3D Studio Max has over 80,000 different commands. Quite a bit, right? So that's why, I'm just trying to go slow here so that's why you have a whole lot of options across the toolbar. You have pull-down menus, you have buttons, and then, let's go over here, you have the palette that, whoops, sorry, trying to hold this with one hand. You have the palette where we will create, edit, add motion, lights, cameras, action. Okay, down in the lower right-hand corner here, you're going to see tools that allow you to pan. This maximizes and minimizes your toggle, your view, and I'll show you what that is. So the yellow one that's highlighted, when I click on that button, it makes it full screen. And it makes it a whole lot easier to work with. So that's what that button does. This allows you to pan, this allows you to move around, zoom in and zoom out, and those are your tools here. Also the middle mouse wheel on your, or the middle wheel on your mouse will allow you to scroll in and scroll out. Okay, now everything else down here is associated with animation, and we will get to that around midterm of this course, and we'll talk about what those things are at that time. For now, the main thing to know in understanding the user interface in 3D Studio Max is how they lay things out. Okay, so you've got your 4 viewports, and when we put objects in one viewport, you'll be able to see them in the other 3. And you'll be able to see them based on the Cartesian coordinate system of geometry. So for this program, we're going to be working with X, Y, and Z coordinates. X being width, Y being length, and Z being height. And you already see this is showing you X and Y coordinates there. Z and X, X, Y, and Z, and then the Y and the Z. Because here we're working with height and length, here height and width, here length and width, and then here all 3. Okay, so if for some reason this gets off, and sometimes it will, just click on the word top or front or left or whatever's there. It will eventually let you after about 8 clicks. And then you can adjust, you can pick. While this is great for being able to see how the model looks in the 3-dimensional perspective, if you click on the word top here rather than here, it won't truly give you the top view. So make sure okay, so let's just do it. So I've got this changed to the back view now. I want to click on this and change it to the top view. Okay, so make sure that is where you change it. Whoops, it's hard to hold this up with one hand. Make sure that's where you change it in that upper right-hand corner. Okay, when we create files, you can only work on, in 3D Studio Max, you can only work on one file at a time. You can file, allows you to create a new drawing, allows you to reset, which basically restores you to this state that we're in. You can open a file, you can save a file, you can save as, you can import and export, you can merge. Merge is when we bring 2 files that we've worked on independently together. So when you go to save as, you want to make sure, sorry, I'm trying to go slow, that you tell it where to save it. Because otherwise it's going to bury it down this rabbit hole and you're never going to see your stuff again without a whole lot of digging. So I just go ahead and make sure that I'm telling it where I want it to put it in. And that probably is fine for, I've set this up, so it's already in there. Okay, and then you're going to have to give your file a name. And I'm just reaching over here at the keyboard, right? So L's, I don't know, just hit the L key. And it saves it to, by default, as a .max file, okay? You can, one of the great things about this program is you can save lower versions. If you have 3D Studio Max 2015 and you have been working in 2018 and somehow you now have access to 15, you can save the file as a lower version to open in 15, because 15 won't let you open an 18 file. You can only save down and you can only open down. You can't save up or go up. So if I knew I was going to be working in a different file or different year, then I could save my file here and it would allow me to work in that lower year file. And then you just hit save and it will save it for you. Okay, so those are just the basics of getting started. I am going to, I'm working on my cell phone right now so I could zoom in and out. I'm going to set up my DSLR camera moving forward for showing you demonstrations in terms of what I'm using, and that should work better for the stability. Sorry about the shakiness. I know it's a little shaky. But I wanted to be able to come in here and zoom and show you the interface. And so we're going to be working with the pull-down menu, some of the items on the ribbon, but mostly we're going to be working over here. This is mostly where most of the things that we'll be working with are. Oh, and one other thing, workspace, we're in the default. So if for some reason you end up somewhere else, you can always return to the default and it will reset everything for you. And then one other thing, I'll go here slowly. This is sort of your, like your layering system over here. As you create objects, it will put them in here, and you can keep track of the objects in your scene there. And you guys will see this as I begin to start working with the primitives that we're going to move into next, which is really exciting because you get to start creating models pretty quickly. Okay, so I'm going to stop this one here, and I will see you in the next video.